a report. Bear with me. Let me put this in slide mode. Okay. So tonight we want to talk about creating a report. What do we mean when we talk about creating a report? What is it all about? Who creates a report? Who is the audience for a report? Those are the things we just want to quickly look at tonight. So for tonight, we'll be looking at the meaning. Like I said, we'll be looking at the content. We'll look at the audience, and then we'll look at those samples. So we look at the reports that a Scrum Master will create. We look at the report that an ADM will create. An ADM, for any other person here who doesn't know what an ADM means, is the Agile Delivery Manager. So try and look at the few similarities in their report and then the differences you have in their report. Okay, so what is a report or a sprint report? So when it comes to Scrum teams or Agile team, we're talking about a sprint report. So what is a sprint report? It's just a summary document of what happened during the sprint or the phase. So for what a Scrum Master writes, which is a sprint report, is just a summary document of what happened during the sprint. Okay. And then for the ADM, it could be, they might be given a quarter report. They do give reports also sprint by sprint at times, but theirs might be a quarter or a phase, so to say, that they are given a high level report of what has happened in a phase. So a phase consists of multiple sprints. You can have about 6 sprints in a phase, and a phase is like 3 months. Okay, so you're looking at 3 months. What happened with this team within these 3 months and all that? So they give you a brief report to the stakeholders. So the report that the ADM gives is more to the stakeholders. But when we get to the audience, we'll be able to see who the audience really are. And what this report just does is to give a brief overview of the sprint or the phase. Like we said, it covers just the main aspects, is straight to the point, no story, no ambiguity in anything. It's not voluminous, whereby the stakeholder is looking at the volume and is even running away because it's too much. I know that. And then it's divided into manageable sections for simplicity. Like I said, you don't want to write prose, you don't want to write paragraphs upon paragraphs and all that. So when you make it into section and it is straight to the point with the subheadings and everything, you give them just those few summary of what happened during the sprint, because you need to carry them along. Remember, Agile is all about collaborating with your stakeholders, carrying them along, working with them. And the report is another thing that you use in being transparent to them, apart from other things that you share with them. Meetings you go to, the review meetings, they come there, they give updates and all that. The report also helps you to be transparent in what you're doing. Okay, so we want to look at the content of a sprint report for a Scrum Master. What are the contents? What are the things you see in your sprint report? You'll have your project name, which just specifically talk about what your project is about. That's your project name. It could be, your project name could be, let me give an example. It could be, if your mandate maybe is to build entertainment website, you can call your project the name of that entertainment. Let's assume the name of the entertainment is something like Softness that the client wants you to create. So your project name can be Softness Entertainment. Yeah, so the name is there so that any stakeholder having a look at that knows the project that he's looking at the report for. That's why your project name has to be there. The sprint name has to be there also. You want them to know the exact sprint you're reporting on. So is it sprint 1? Is it sprint 2? Sprint 3? You also put that there. That's part of the content of your sprint reports. The sprint period is also there. We say the sprint name is there. So if your sprint 3 starts from Monday to maybe Friday, you put that period there so that they know not just the sprint name, but also the period that that sprint is covering. You put that there, and then you give them the sprint backlog item updates. So the sprint backlog item are those stories, user stories that you worked on during the sprint. You're able to give them an update on it. What is the status? Did you complete them? There's some that are past the development, the developer side. It has been built but not been tested yet. So substantial work has been done on it, but not yet completed. If you're the kind of team that you release at the end of every sprint, you're giving them that update status also. Has it been released? Is it completed? If you're the kind of team where you release monthly and all that, everything has been completed, is on the maybe pre-staging site and things like that, you just give them an update of where all the items you worked on, where they are. You give an update of that. You also give an update of your team's capacity. What is the team capacity during this particular sprint that you're talking about? Do you have full capacity? Do you have maybe 50% capacity of team members, maybe due to holidays, due to people calling in sick and all that? And what that helps you to what that information gives your stakeholders is they're able to look at it and say, well, if we are looking at the sprint backlog items update you're giving us, if you're saying you completed about just 80% and you have this number of people in your team, what happened? But by the time you give the update, by the time you give your team capacity and all that, if there have been holidays and all that, they would understand why you did not you were not able to complete it because you've given update. There might be somebody that said, oh, I will give full capacity at the start of the sprint. Mid-sprint, they had an emergency, they had to go, leave the project, and they just had maybe 50% of what they had to do completed and all that. And because of that, nobody was able to complete what they're doing. Nobody had the capacity, to carry on what they're doing, and you couldn't finish that aspect because you've given that team's capacity. You're giving your stakeholders information, about why maybe some of the things are not completed. So it's advisable to put your team's capacity in your report also. And then you just give the sprint highlights. What happened during the sprint? Was there any blocker? How was it resolved? And things like that. You're also able to provide that. We will see samples later on, which would help you to understand better what we're talking about. So you're able to give those highlights, also give them an highlight of the sprint. There was maybe one of the sites was broken due to one thing or the other. You needed the IT team or infrastructure team to resolve things. It delayed the project for maybe 2 or 3 days. That could be another reason why you didn't finish what you had to do. But by the time you give those highlights, you are carrying them along in what happened, why you're not able to complete or achieve the sprint goal at the end of the sprint. If there are any issues also, you let them know what is the impact of that issue, how has it been resolved. You're able to give those information also, and then you share the metrics with them. Your metrics are just your charts that helps you to give a progress report, so to say, of the sprint. So there are times when you share the burn down chart, you share the velocity charts and all that. You're able to share that also. Those are contents that you have in your sprint reports. And then you have review feedback updates. Okay, so let's assume that you're doing your sprint review. There were some feedbacks that came from the stakeholders to say, I'd rather have this color that you've done. You put all those updates in your sprint reports, and then you give them also action plan. As those things, those feedback, have they been updated? As those changes been updated? If they've been updated, you give the information that, oh, it's now been updated. We've put it on the it's going to be tested, or maybe it's already on the website and everything. Could you please check to make sure it's what you wanted and get back to us? If it has not been updated, maybe you intend to work on it in the next sprint you're going into, you give the update in your sprint report also, so that they are aware. And it also helps you to track and keep record of that feedback, because if it happens to be a meeting where during the review meeting you didn't, there was no recording of it, whereby there will be changes of but that wasn't what I said and all that, you putting it also in the sprint report is like kind of how will I put it now, setting keeping track of that feedback to say at least the stakeholder is going to see it, and if that is not what they said, they'll be able to say, this wasn't what I said. What I said was da 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 da, da, and that correction would have been made and all that. So that also helps you in putting your review feedbacks update in your sprint report. And then you're looking at the overview of the next sprint. So in the next sprint, the goal for the next sprint is this is what you're going to work on. And also the parts that we didn't finish in the previous sprint, we've carried them over into the new sprint. We're going to work on those ones first because they are dependent. The new ones, or part of the goals for the new sprint, are dependent on us finishing those ones off before we can start. So they take priority on the sprint goal of the new sprint and all that. You give them all those updates so that they know that this is what the team is working with going forward. And what your sprint report now does is it gives an understanding not just to the stakeholders alone, it also gives an understanding to every member of your team. Everybody is on board. This is what the team has done. This is where they are. These are the risks and everything. This is what we're working on next. Okay, so the transparency across not just the developers or the development team or the Scrum team, but also your stakeholders also have that transparency. And this is a document that you keep. Okay, so you keep it in a central place, you keep it on your wiki, even some keep it in their Teams channel files, depending on your SharePoint, you can keep it anywhere, but it's kept and it's a record that you can always, refer back to know what you discussed or what has happened before. Even a new team member joining your team can go into this report in order to help them have a shared understanding and bring them up to speed concerning what the team is working on, the things that has been done before to help them, understand the project better. Okay, so that's for the Scrum Master's sprint report. So we just want to also look at the status report. So what the Scrum Master produce at the end of sprint, different organizations call it different names, okay? Where I work, they call it review deck. So, but I know that is still sprint report. So different organization calls it different name, but I think the main common one out there is just the sprint report. And then for the ADM, what they give is some call it delivery report, delivery status report, some call it project status report. Okay, so what they do is on a higher level and higher overview, more than the nitty-gritty that the Scrum Masters go through. But as you can see, there's some few similarities. You have the project name also coming in on their own also, which like we said, it could be the name of that project, like Softness, like I said, Softness Entertainment Project and all that. It could be the same thing that the ADM is working on. The face name also comes in. Okay, so in their own case, it's not the sprint name. So like it won't be sprint one, also it could be quarter one, which we know covers maybe January to March. So that is what they are giving a status on. It could be quarter two, depending. Or some organization calls it quarter, some organization calls it phase. So phase one would be January to March. Phase two will be April to June, every three months, depending on how they arrange their phases in their organization. Some just do their phases 6 monthly, not quarterly like that, but depending on what the phase is, the name is there, and the period, like I said, if it's January to March, they will put it there, the start date and the end date in the start date in January and that end date in March, they're able to put it there just so the stakeholder is aware of the dates that is covering. And then they will now provide also, it might contain also a project objective. Okay, so the project objective mainly is the specific goal for that project. So what is the goal that has been defined at the start of the project that we want to achieve? What are the intended outcomes that we want to achieve regarding this project? That's the thing that the project objective covers. And then what it does is it just provides a clear direction for success, ensuring that all the team members and the stakeholders will all have a common understanding of what this project aims to achieve. That is what your project objective they're putting there. And then you now have the executive summary, which talks about that particular phase. So the executive summary just gives you a high level overview of the current state of the project. This is where we are, we're in this particular quarter and all that. And it talks about the key accomplishments and the significant issues, that so far the project has had. So it's just giving an high level overview of the summary of the project. This is what has been done, or this is where we are right now. Is able to provide that. And then it provides also the phase deliverable updates, and this is just periodic report. So is that phase specific, and is that phase focused, and it's just a periodic report that outlines the progress, the completion status of that particular phase. Remember, it comes at the end of that particular phase, and it just gives an overview of what has been achieved during that phase, the quality of the specific deliverables, that you've had during that particular phase, how things have been tracked. You give updates that helps to ensure that the project is still on track. The stakeholders, have the confidence that, okay, this project is still on track, it's still meeting the objectives of why it has been given to this team or this organization to work with. It gives them trust when you're able to give all these updates, to them, and they know that, okay, the team is they are adhering to the planned timeline. And if that is going to shift in any way, there has to be a concrete reason for that, which comes in your risk and issue information that you're going to give them. So an example of kind of a phase deliverable update could be something like, maybe the objective for that phase is that you want to develop a comprehensive um, mobile app. Let's assume that is what the phase is about. So we have the website already. Now this particular phase, we want to now develop the mobile app and everything. What is the deliverable for that phase? What are the things we want to deliver? What are the things we've put in place? What is the update? Is it going as planned? Is it going to meet the timeline that we have set for it? You're able to give all those updates in that section. And then you could also have a section for your risk and issue management. And this is where you raise any critical issue that's happened during that phase. You're able to give them updates on it. It helps you to identify that there is either a risk or an issue. Is a risk when it's a potential problem. It has not happened yet. It becomes an issue when it's the actual problem. It has already happened. And what the things you want to update the stakeholders in that report is, what is the particular risk that you've identified? You've assessed it. What is the likelihood? What is the impact? What might happen? If that risk becomes an issue, or even if it is still a risk, what is the impact? If it has become an issue already, what is the impact? And what is the plan that we've put in place to mitigate it? What are we going to do, to either prevent it when it's a risk, or deal with it, fix it, or resolve it if it has become an issue? Those are the information that you provide for them there. So you're not just saying, oh, there is a risk. You tell them the risk, and then you just put that there and you leave it at that. You need to tell them the impact. How big is that impact? Is it a critical impact? Is it a medium impact? Is it a low impact, and all that? And no matter how low it is, there still has to be a mitigation plan in place. What is the plan that we're putting in place in order to resolve this, and all that? You're able to give them all those information. Okay, so as an ADM also, you have a metrics that you can share, just like the Scrum Master. You can use your velocity, which is is just a visual representation of the amount of work that the team has completed through during a sprint, in the couple of sprints, for a period of time, is the completed work. So it measures the planned work against the completed work. And what you use this to do, okay, so the Scrum Master uses the same chart, but they uses it to track different things when they are sharing it in their report. So if a Scrum Master is sharing the velocity charts in our own report, the Scrum Master is sharing that chart to analyze trend for the team and to help the team to estimate how much work they can realistically complete in the future sprints that they are going to have, because it's going to give them the average velocity. Now, as an ADM, if you use the same metric, what you're not tracking the same thing for the stakeholders. What you're doing is you're offering the stakeholder a transparent view of the team's progress and capacity. And what that foster is trust and better communication. You're taking the fear away from them that, oh, can this team deliver? Do they have the skill sets to deliver? Are they working, as at the efficiency that they're supposed to work and all that? When they look at the trend of the charts and all that, they're able to know that, okay, this team is working, as you can see in the chart. They're able to explain. So as an ADM, you should be able to explain any charts that you put in your report for them. And you're able to, when you put that chart, you just be able to put it that the team is working at a sustainable pace and everything. And then that gives and then you look at that, and apart from saying they're working at a sustainable pace, you're able to forecast to say, at the rate at which they're working, we're able to deliver this project to timeline. And that gives the stakeholder assurance that, okay, there's not going to be waste of time. There's not going to be extra time put into this. We're getting this thing out when they say we're going to get it, or when we said we wanted it, is going to get out. So you can see that they are tracking different things. The same thing you're telling the stakeholder, the team can also use that to forecast what they need to do, work hard, they need to work and all that, but everyone is looking at it at a different angle, so to say. And then also you provide budget status. Okay, so as an agile delivery manager, there are times when you are the one that is physically managing the budget. You're the one that the money has been given to. And even if it is not you, even if you have to liaise with the financial departments to get money out for anything and all that, you need to have an overview of what the budget is. How much at the beginning, the planned budget, you're able to give them your status about the budget. You're giving them the planned budget. How much did we plan for the whole project? How much have we actually spent at this particular time? How much is the forecasted spend? And then you're looking at the variance also. So for a phase also, let's assume that you have 4 phases to finish a particular project, and you have been given a million to do that. So you're looking at, it's possible that maybe at the initial stage of the project, let's divide it equally, that you're spending 250,000 pounds on each phase and all that. You're able to give a report for this particular phase to say, for the 250,000 pounds that we're supposed to spend for this planned for this particular phase, we've actually spent so. If you have an overall variance that is higher than what was initially planned and all that, you're able to give that information. Or we're supposed to spend 250,000, we ended up spending 252,000. The 2,000 extra was because of this, that. We're able to make that up because initially during the initiation stage of the project, we're supposed to spend also 250, but we didn't spend that. We spent 230. So this 2,000 extra can be the difference coming from that where we spent less money. And even if you've gone a bit overboard, be able to explain every variance that is in the budget. You give them that update also, so that they know that, okay, this is within our budget, this is still going within our budget. There are times when you have above the budget, not because of you or anything. It could be because of an extension from the stakeholders themselves. When you give your project status, let them know that, remember, there was a time when you wanted us to do this and this and this, which extended the project maybe by a week or 2 weeks, extra sprints and all that. That has been factored into the project. That is going to make the project go up a little bit, which they will know about anyway, because when that extension happened, you must have given them a report that is going to happen. But put it in your project again for record purposes, and then also to give them updates. So you're able to give that budget status. And then the last thing is an overview of the next phase. So we've just finished phase 2 and we're going into phase 3. What are the deliverables we're looking at for phase 3? What are the objectives for phase 3? We are able to give them that this is what we're going to do in phase 3. This is the plan. These are the specific work we're looking at. These are the features and the functionality we're looking at. That at the end of phase 3, these are the deliverables that we're expecting that we will have for you. You're able to give all those information in your ADM reports. Now, the little subheadings and contents might look a lot, but at times, most of the things you need to tell them might just be a sentence or two. So you're not, like I said, you're not giving them one big voluminous thing for your project, for your budgets. Like I said, it might just be planned budget for phase, the amount spent, so. If there's any variance, if there's no variance, just say no variance, another, and you move on. So it's not as if I'm saying this lot because I'm explaining to you, but that is not how much explanation you need to put in the project, in the report you need to give to them. Remember, you've been carrying them along from onset and all that. Even the project objective, why you might need to still put it there is because you might have a new stakeholder who is just coming on board and needs to understand the objective of that particular project, and that's why you leave that in there, so that the person gets that, because you don't know who will be coming or who the audience would be. It might not be the same people. There might be a stakeholder that have left the client organization, another person has taken over, and they need to have that bit of information about the project, so that you're carrying them along. They have shared understanding, just like any other person that is looking at the report. So that is for the ADM. Okay, so some few tips that helps you to create a good report. The number of pages, like I said earlier on, it's not something that has to be so much. For the Scrum Master, maybe 2 to 3 pages, and the same for the ADM. But because you've put it in sections and you're so to the point and all that, so many pages, the people you're giving this to, if there's anything people get lazy to do, is to read a lot of things. Remember this, your report is just one of a lot of things they need to do. So they don't have that time to sit down and start reading something that is big. Most times your clients, your stakeholders are people that deals with a lot of reports, a lot of documents and all that, and you don't want yours, to be cumbersome. You want something that you will get to them, is straight to the point and all that. So don't make it too many pages. 2 to 3 pages, maximum 4. Even 4 is taking it overboard a bit, but at least maximum 4 pages and all that for the number of pages. The information you're putting there, I've said it, let it be simple, let it be clear. Don't use ambiguous words. Don't use words that have double meanings. They are so vague. There is no time to come back to you, the person that has written the report, to start saying, sorry, what do you mean by this? I really don't understand and all that. So you have to make the information that you're putting there the right information, the information that is needed. You're not doing any preambles, introduction, main body, conclusion. That is not what is needed. Just straight to the point and simple. And then the another point is clarity, which is part of your report, having that simplicity. Is clear, is not giving double meaning, kind of. And then if you put them in sections, it helps them to understand better. Like I said, don't make it too wordy, kind of. Don't turn it into kind of a story, a prose with paragraphs upon paragraphs and other times. At times when bullet pointing it in simple sentence is just, what they need to get the information. You can use tabular form also, which is quite good. You're stating this is the description, this is the status, this is the comments, straight to the point and everything and all that. You're able to do that also with your report. So that helps you to, at the end of the day, give a good report to the stakeholders or even to your team members. So who are the audience of your report. Who are those people that are the audience of your report? You have your stakeholders. Your stakeholders does not have to include just your clients alone. The management, your organizations, also the financial people in your organization, the infrastructure people in your organization might need it because of what they need to do, maybe to improve the system that you're using, the tools that you're using. So they are the stakeholders. They are the people that read your report. They are the people that need to read your report. So the clients are there. Remember that your product owner is there. They won't be at every meeting all the time. So the product owner is another audience of your reports. They read the reports, they know, because they can use your report. Your report gives the product owner deep information, detailed information, that when they go to meetings with the clients, with any other stakeholder, the business themselves and all that, the CEO, the CIO, depending, the directors, when they go and meet them, they are able to give them information. They don't need to take you there. They don't need to start calling you from there to say, oh, I need information about this and all that. Everything is in the report. And when they read the report, when they review the report, they feel that, oh, there are still some information I need that is not here. They would ask you and they will jot that down. You don't need to put that in your report. If they need more information or more clarity and all that, they will ask you, they will get that down, everything, because it's going to help them in the meeting that they are going to. So your product owner also is another audience. The development team themselves are also audience. Okay, the development team are also audience of that report. So we've done all this work and everything. They can look at that report. They can use that report to find topics to discuss during ref. To say there is this part of there's this part of the report that talks about, let's assume, where we have the risk and all that. How, as a team, do we want to mitigate that risk going forward? What do we need to do to improve so that we don't have such a risk coming up again? They look at the mitigation plan that is in place and all that. If the mitigation plan has to do with the team, they are able to collaborate and put an improvement in place. If the mitigation plan has to do with another team, they are able to discuss with either the ADM or the Scrum Masters to say, oh, this is an external team. How do we, mitigate things in future whereby we don't lose 2 or 3 days because of a risk that becomes an issue, that we're not able to work because of one thing or the other. And that discussion is carried out with maybe the infrastructure team and all that and everything, in order to improve the system, find something to do to improve the system so that the team is not having such issue with the tools that they are working on the environments they are working on. And then you have other Scrum Masters also. You have other ADMs also. Your report can help them upskill them, so they also can be a report, an audience to your report. A Scrum Master from another team who is maybe just coming into the organization, who is less experienced than you, can look at your reports and help them also to kind of write their own reports. As Scrum Masters in your community of Scrum Masters, you can bring your report in. One, you also who is more experienced can even gain from something that a less experienced Scrum Master has put in their own reports, maybe because they do it where she's coming from, and you see that, oh, this is a good thing. We can also kind of copy such to do in order to give a better value to the reports that you're giving. So all these people can be your audience. And like I said, the business also at times can be your audience. You can have the line manager for the development team requesting for the reports, not because of anything, but maybe because they just want to see how they've performed, look at the charts, know how they perform, in order to help them to upskill their upskill, put them for training and things like that. They could need it for that reason. Okay, so it's a transparent document and we just use it for that purpose. So those they can be more than this, but those are just mainly the basic ones that you have that are audience for reports that you provide as a Scrum Master or as an ADM. Okay, so we want to look at a sample sprint report, and like I said, this is just page 1 of a sample. Like we said, the content, the name of the project is ABCD project, is sprint 10, and on the other side over here you can see the sprint period, the period that is covering. You can see that there. Okay, so anybody looking at it knows that, oh, it's talking about the ABC product, and it's looking at sprint 10 of that ABC product, and that's the period. And then you can see the list of all the backlog items that were taken into the sprint. That's the ID, that is the type of work item they are, their user stories, if there are bugs that the team planned. Hello, allow me, is that you? Do you want us to? Okay. All right, you can see the type of work item it is, and then you can see the title also, the efforts that was put on it, the estimates, the story point that was put on it. You can see that at the end of that sprint, they took in 41 story points. You can see the status here, what was finished, what was not finished. You can see all that there, and then you can see the comment also. So you're not just leaving it at the status unfinished. Why was it unfinished? You can see unstable environment. So during this sprint, the team had an unstable environment. Maybe the environment was broken, the dev environment was broken, and they couldn't complete a lot of the things because of that. You can see that reflected here. And then over here, you can see the team's capacity being captured over here. The name of the team members is there, their planned days, and then the days they work. So these are the days that they planned to work, and these are the days they actually work. For this one, Nat, you can see he planned to work for 10 days and then ended up working for 7 days. It could be for any number of reasons. You can see that there. This one also planned for 9 days and then ended up working for 4 days. And then you can see another section talking about the issues that were faced during that sprint. You can see 60% of the stories committed to sprint could not be completed due to the test environment being unstable. You see, that was there and said this was resolved a day to the end of sprint. So it was resolved. You have to put that. So you don't put just the issue there. You have to put whatever was done to resolve it. It was resolved at the end of the day, but it was resolved a day to the end of the sprint. And that was why they had about 4 items not completed during that sprint. And also you can see the sprint highlight at the bottom here. Committed 41 efforts, completed 18. We're looking at the 18, the 4 that were completed at the 18 is just an highlight, high level. Stories relating to sample event menu and sub menu are not completed. All uncompleted stories will spill over and be prioritized in the next sprint. So you need to give that overview so that they know what is going to happen to all the works that were not completed. So this is just page 1, and you can see that it's straight to the point, is compartmentalized somehow to make this look nice. Even in this section that has to do with the items in the sprint, the backlog items and everything, it was put in a tabular form so that it's straight to the point, is easy to read, is easy for the eyes to catch the information that is needed and move on. That is the first page. And then in your second page of the same sprint report is where you're looking at your chart. So you can see the burn down chart over there. You can see the velocity chart over here also for the audience. And then at the bottom here is where you have the review feedback updates that I talk about. Request to change landing page banner to moving images has been carried out. You can see that was a review feedback that was given, and they're just updating the stakeholders to let them know that, oh, this that you wanted, we've done it. Request to change footer background color to royal blue is pending, awaiting further clarification. So maybe they've reached out to the PO or to the clients to know the exact color that they need, the code of the color that is needed. And that's why they said that one is still awaiting clarification. You can see that information there. And then you can see the overview for the next sprint. So because this is sprint 10, we can see that this is sprint 11, and it says complete stories on sample events menu and sub header menu. And then they will now want to create the multiple payment gateway. So the multiple payment gateway is the main focus for sprint 11, but because these were not completed for us, they need to complete this first before they move over to this. Because before you can create a multiple payment gateway, you need to sort out the sub menu that people are going to click on in order for them to get to the payment gateway. So the payment gateway is dependent on these ones being completed first, and that is why that was stated first before the multiple payment gateway has been put in. And that is just the two page, but look at the enough information that it has. But it's straight to the point, it's clear, and it's good to see because they are in sections, and the section is given the right information. Okay, so we want to look at the ADM report. Let me try and move this up see if I can move it a bit away. Okay. All right, so that is the first page, or can even be the only page for a project, an ADM project, a project status report. Okay, you can see the project name over there. Is the Redesign XYZ website. That's the project's name. The project code, if there's a code, you don't really need a code, but it's optional. You can put it there. That's the project code. If the organization uses a project code, you can see either the project manager here, but it could also be your name there, the Agile Delivery Manager, that your name there, and then the status date. You need to put the status there so that they know. Some uses version, some say version so, or it could be the status date, and then you put that there. And then see the project summary there, giving just the project summary there. You can see different sections. This section is just for these particular details, giving details about the project. This is giving the project summary, and then this is giving you the project status. Okay, it's telling us is using is using color code also to help to know what is going on. So it says project spent 20%, it is green. That means we're on track over there. Scope delivered 30% is on amber, kind of. So what that is saying is that it's just alerting that if we're not careful, we won't deliver to timeline, because already it's just 30% that we've done, not even up to 50%. So it's giving an amber there, and then the estimated date somehow has moved, and that is why you have red there. Okay, so you can see that project status there is not written in a lot of words and all that, but it's giving the status and the information that is expected to give. And then you have your project budget over here. You can see just the budget status, item description, the forecast, and then the actual. You can see that the IT cost, you can see that the vendor, the software cost, the buffer, and the total for that particular project status that is being given at the particular time. You can see where the vendor is, that it is highlighted in red because they've overshoot the budget. The forecast was for 35,000, and you can see that the actual that they spend is 500,000. So that is way high. But if you look at the software cost, is 76, and the actual there is 450,000. So you can move money around, but this 500,000 is way above the whole budget. And you can see the total at the bottom, where it's meant to be 260,000 is 551,500. Okay, that's why this was color coded in red, to show the overspend, overkill, if I can put it that way, over there. And then you can see reset accomplishment. They put it there, analysis of the key components. They're able to put that there. The planned activities for the next sprint. You can see that over here. You can see the risk information and the mitigation, bottleneck in QA, the things that were done. You can see there all the things that are being planned to be done. You can see that there also. And then another one is things going bad, which is the second one, plan to fix it if possible. You can see that there also. And then this is the velocity. This is the chart that this the project manager or the ADM can give, looking at the projected date to the time that they said they were going to deliver is still going on well. So you can see that there, and that is just using it to kind of say that everything is going well and all that. You can see also over here the average velocity for the team. It's putting it there, that's the team's average velocity that is there. So this is one example, and another one that I just quickly want to show us, which is not on that. This is another example. This is just a 2-page status that an ADM can give. So this one is more tailored to the project manager, but can be used also by an ADM, because mainly is all about the project status that you're giving reports about the project status. But this one is mainly also used by the Agile Delivery Manager. You can see the key deliverable milestone is for Q1. So this report is giving information about Q1. The RAG status there is it's amber, so it's not green, it's amber, and the dates for this is end of February. So this quarter is meant to end by the end of February. Okay, So, and then it's giving the objective. Now, this is the Q1 objective that is given. It says the primary goal for Q1 is to ensure completion of the outstanding enhancement features of the end-to-end order process from registration to payment. So that is what they're supposed to focus on during that quarter and all that. And this is the executive summary, that by the end of, this is 2023 Q1, the release, by the end of that Q1, they expect to release this, to have an end-to-end order process release, the mobile application, a new feature called manage recurring bills. Those are the things they want to deliver at the end of that sprint, to have delivered at the end of that sprint. And this is the rate analysis for now. And you can see over here that it's saying that the critical is red, the high is orange, which is amber, and then the medium is yellow, and the low is green. And you can see through, even without reading anything, just looking at the status that is color coded, that okay, so this is why that project was put in amber here, because of this going on. You can see that there is a high one here, which is critical, and that can be a risk, is already an issue. Even the amber one, which is high, is already an issue. The one that is still a risk is the medium one, and it gives the description of what it is, what type it is. Is it an issue? Is it a risk? Who is the owner of that risk or that issue? They're able to put it there. This one says is the business, because they delay in getting approval to some of the data that are needed. So they are the ones. What is the impact? The end of February release cannot go ahead without that data that is needed, and it's a critical one because it's going to impact a release that is expected at the end. So what is the mitigating factor? Release will be postponed tentatively to the end of March. So you can see there is a plan to postpone release, because if depending on the time this report is given, it's obvious if they don't get those data on time, it's going to impact everything. It's going to impact the people that are going to put the data in the back end. It's going to impact the testers that are going to test using the API to call those data in order to see it in the front end and all that. So it is a lot of, you can see that is critical, and that also might be dependent on even all the other ones that are coming in. You can see the PO carrying out too many responsibility as business and other things and all that, and the PO here is the owner of that risk, and he just needs to kind of delegate that role. So that one is high also, which again will impact whatever has been done. So this is the information at a high level that you want to give, so that the stakeholders are aware of what is going on. Even they themselves are able to pick up the things that are their own fault and they are responsible for, and knowing that it might impact the extension of the project, able to put things in place, work with the mitigation. If this mitigation they feel is not realistic, it's not going to work, discuss the best way, other mitigation that we can put in place in order to resolve that. They're able to give that information also. Okay, so those are just the sample to explain everything we've been saying about the reports. Now, for a Scrum Master, your sprint report comes at the end of sprint. For an ADM, depends on the kind of report you're writing. So if you're writing a quarter report or a phase report, it might come at the end of the phase. There are some ADMs that they expect your report also to come in at the end of sprint. So you're not given the same information that the Scrum Master is giving. You're given a high level. Yours is tailored towards delivery of a particular functionality or a feature. The Scrum Master's report is tailored towards, did we achieve the sprint goal, and giving updates towards that particular focus. Okay, so there might be similarities, but just know that you're not doing the same thing. You're not duplicating the same results. The audience are different. The information also is tailored at different level. Yours as an agile delivery manager might be at a higher level, while the Scrum Master is team focused. Is focused on the team and nitty gritty and detailed. Yours might include not just, you're not even including you. Yeah, you will make mention of the team because they're the ones that are developing, but you are looking at a larger view. You're looking at business, you're looking at clients, you're looking at delivery. So your own focus is more focused, you're more focused on delivery. What impeded the delivery? What helped the delivery? Any lesson learned in the process and all that. Those are the things that you're focusing on from a higher level as an agile delivery manager. All right. Thank you so much. I hope this session has been productive for anyone. If you have any question, any clarification, please do let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Moji, for this wonderful training. But I have this question to ask. Are you saying Agile Delivery Manager, or I'm talking of what the A stands for? Is it Agile or Agile? I just want to get the
Agile.
Agile,
Agile.
Agile.
Yes, agile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question is could you please throw more light on sprints? I mean, like the meaning.
Okay, so a sprint is a repeated circle that is a container and is used in agile mainly, or it's agile oriented. Okay, it comes with the agile methodology. And what the sprint is a container that helps the team to use the Scrum process in managing and delivering work that has been planned for a particular time. And it is a process that happens continuously. So, example, you have a 2 weeks, it could be a 1 week, depending on the team. It could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks. So the 2 weeks is the mainly common one. It could be 3 weeks, but it's not more than a month. It's not more than a calendar month. So some have 4 weeks, some have a calendar month, but it can't be more than that. And what you do in that container is to ensure that all the Scrum events happen during that container in order for the team to be able to deliver what they have committed to do during that period. So you have an event, a ceremony starting with the sprint planning within that 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Let's just use 2 weeks for an example. So there is a 2 weeks period which is fixed. You can't move it. Even when you've not finished what you've planned to do within that 2 weeks, you can't extend it a day. You can't extend it a half day. Once it's the end of that 2 weeks, that that sprint is completed. Whatever is not finished, let me put it that way. Whatever work is not finished within that 2 weeks, the team discuss with the product owner if they are still priority and all that, we move them to do them in the next sprint. So you have a sprint which is 2 weeks, and you're able to plan, you're able to carry out work, give updates daily during your stand-up. At the end of work that is done, you're able to do a sprint review where you meet with the stakeholders in order to demonstrate what has been done during that sprint, the incremental value that has been added to the product. You're able to do that. Now, what we do with the sprint is we're breaking a big chunk of work down and say that we'll be doing it little by little and adding incremental value to this product until we complete it. Rather than looking at it, there is no way there's a big work to do. We can't just, go into it and do it. So it's a structured process way of getting work done, not getting it done alone, getting it into the hands of the end users early enough, getting reviews from them, being able to adapt, change things based on the review and the feedback they've given you, so that the quality of the product you're going to give to them at the end of the project is what they expect, is what they need, is meeting their expectation at the end of the day. And that's why Agile is different from Waterfall. With Waterfall, you will do all you need to do. There is no collaboration or communication between the end users and the development team. They finish everything and then they give it to the user. And at the end of the day, at times, it might not meet the user's expectation. That is why Agile works in sprints every time to make sure that, and that's why it has to start and end and have a limited time so that we carry the stakeholders along, they review what has been done, they give feedback, we do updates, which is you respond to any changes, they say we're flexible enough to respond to any changes they want and all that, and get that back to them until it meets their expectation. If there are any changes they want, even where the changes is different from the requirements they've made initially, we're able to carry them along and carry those flexibility along. And that is where the agility comes in when it comes to the agile methodology. I hope that's clear. Okay, I've got hands up. I'm not sure who asked the question initially. Okay, Miracle, you have your hands up.
Good evening, Marjorie. Thank you for the lecture. I want to just a question to get more light on it.
You're breaking up, Miracle.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, better now.
Okay. As an agile delivery manager or a project manager, is it good is it okay you get information from the project team members in creating a report, like what do they call it? Like the QA or the developers, or you go through the Scrum Master in getting your reports from the team?
Depending on the information you want, if your information is on the technical side of things and the developers can give you that information you need, yeah, definitely you can go through them. You can go also through your Scrum Master, and believe me, your Scrum Master, if they can't give you that information, they would get the developers to give you that information, or the tech lead if that's the person, the best person, so that you don't kind of distract the developers from their work and all that. But I would advise best practice, just link up with a Scrum Master and say, oh, I need this information and all that and everything. And then they will tell you, oh, I'll get either the tech lead to be able to provide that information, because you might need that technical aspect in your reports, depending on what you're working on, and you don't have that kind of knowledge. So you might need the tech lead who has a domain knowledge kind of to give you that information. So yeah, definitely they can provide you with information needed.
Okay. And the second one, I really don't understand the demo you showed, and I think the project PM reports.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't understand the charts. I don't know if you can throw more light on it.
Okay, so
on the PM reports, the
yeah.
demo you
Okay,
showed.
so this you're still going to be trained on Scrum charts. That's why I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of it. Yeah, just know that you use some of those charts in your reports in order to give reports and all that. But I wouldn't, going into that would take time. It will take time that will be needed to answer other people's questions. But just know that you'll be taking through Scrum charts also, where they will give you full information, the components, what the components mean, what you're tracking, the benefits of the chart and all that. You will go through that.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Emmanuel.
Yeah, Muji, thank you so much for the section. My question is just straightforward. For instance, if I'm as a Scrum Master or you're in a 2-week cadence and you want to present your report, is it industry practice for it to come at the end of the sprint or organizational practice? Because I've heard someone told me that, oh, she gives her report weekly, like on a Friday, she give her report. Then the other Friday, concluding the sprint, she give her report again. Bearing in mind that getting the stakeholders might be a little bit difficult or anything. So I just want to ask, is it industry practice or is the organizational practice the way you want to embark upon it?
Report is more organization practice. So every organization has their own policy and procedure, how they want to do things. Like you said, it could be that there is a difficult stakeholder they're dealing with that needs to get a report every week, depending on how complex that project is. So they give that information. But at the same time, giving information weekly might not give that person the full overview that is needed. But if it satisfies and provides the information that stakeholder needs or that the line manager needs, why not? We can do it weekly, and then we can do it at the end of the sprint also.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. All right, Gladys. Hello, Gladys. If you're talking, you're muted. So
Hello, sorry, I didn't catch that.
you have your hands raised, so that was why I called you.
I've asked my question already and you've answered. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll put it down.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, any other question from anyone? All right, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's meant to be an 8 to 9 session, and we just roughly 6 minutes gone. Laomi, I'm not sure if you're happy to let everyone go, so I'm just handing over back to you, Laomi. Thanks, everyone, and thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Moji.
Temi, you have your hands up.
Yes, I don't know which of the rooms I am because I think my phone went off while you were probably calling the groups we fall into.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
What role? What's your role?
PM.
PM.